This is Selma Schimmel, and this is Unique and Unmistakable Amsterdam. The cultural and commercial capital of the Netherlands is used to being the center of attention, and this year is no exception as it hosts the European Cancer Congress 2013. This is a multidisciplinary cancer congress sponsored by ECHO, the European Cancer Organization, ESMO, the European Society for Medical Oncology, and ESTRO, the European Society for Therapeutic Radiology and Oncology. Bringing together the most imaginative and innovative minds and researchers from across the continent and around the world to engage global stakeholders, coordinate a unified oncology community, and speak with one voice. Vital Options Advocacy in Action is here to do the same, bringing together influential leaders of the cancer advocacy community for a three-part advocate forum. This is our fourth European Advocacy in Action, and we are so proud to be in Amsterdam, grateful to be partnering with ESMO and ECHO, and honored to bring it to you. And I will start with you, Dr. Casali, in the way that public policy impacts access to innovative therapies and research, and also these governing bodies, NICE as an example, the impact that all this has on access to innovative therapies and research.
Yeah, when you must receive a drug, that drug must be approved by a regulatory body, which in Europe, in the European Union, is EMA. But then the problem is that in order for you to have access to the drug, someone must pay for the drug. And generally in Europe, this means that there must be some health system or public health system, regionally, nationally, which pays for the drug. So this means that in Europe you have another regulatory body, nationally or regionally, which must decide that the drug is reimbursed. So this means that you may have discrepancies across the European Union, even in the presence of a centralized drug regulatory body. Basically for two reasons. The first one is that the central regulatory body evaluates the drugs on the basis of the risk-benefit ratio. So it considers whether the drug is active and to which extent toxicity is a limiting factor of that activity. But clearly the third payer must reason in terms of cost-benefit. So it evaluates also the ratio between costs and efficacy. And in addition to this, it may evaluate efficacy differently from the central regulatory body and differently from other national or regional bodies. So that for these two reasons, EU patients may have different access to drugs. For example, NICE may evaluate a drug differently from an Italian or a French regulatory body. So in the end, this is policy. So this is why policy is important for patients to have access to drugs. Then if the drug is not approved, but is approved for other indications, you may have access to the drug as an off-label drug. But the problem of the off-label use of drugs is as well different across Europe. So in each country you may have different policies about the off-label use of drugs. And if the drug is studied within ongoing clinical studies, so the drug is not approved yet. Okay, you might receive the drug on a compassionate use basis, for example, or a named use or an expanded access within an expanded access program or something like that. Often the drug is given for free by the pharmaceutical company. Of course, the pharmaceutical company must decide to launch a compassionate use program. And the regulatory implications of this may be different again across Europe. So, for example, there may be barriers because, say, the pharmaceutical company has not decided to get the approval of the drug. And so this may be a limitation by which the compassionate use is not approved by national regulators. So again, this is policy.
You're making me think, and it ties into something you were talking about regarding what patients get online, read on the internet, how very difficult in the age where any patient has access to information. And it's painful for me when I think about what it means for a patient to read about a drug, an innovative therapy that might help them, but that they can't access due to varying reasons when it comes to policy. And it has to be anguishing in an era where patients can read and know what's out there in other parts of the world.
Yeah, especially when there are discrepancies. I mean, across the geographical area in which you live, because clearly there must be rules, clearly there must be limitations, because efficacy needs to be demonstrated, efficacy is built with trials, this is a complicated process, and so on. Rules are needed. But what is irrational is that efficacy may be different in Italy and in France, or in the UK and in the Netherlands. So I think this must be very difficult to understand.
Thank you for being so articulate and committed.
Thank you indeed.